and today we are talking about the morning. I'm gonna about creating a morning routine, and I'm just gonna wait just a few minutes to make sure everything is good to go, and then we will get started. So if you are here, just type in the chat, say good morning, let me know how you're doing today, and yeah, we'll get going. So let me make sure everything is working good, and then we are all set to go. Okay. Okay, I think we are all good. So it is Thursday morning. It is November 12th, 2020. Today is my daughter's 5th birthday. It's been just a really special day, and it was really fun to celebrate her this morning and have a special breakfast, and she opened presents, and it was so fun. And then she's spending the day at school, which we were talking about, such a fun thing to do for your birthday, is to be at school on your birthday with your friend. So she's thrilled, and now I'm here with you, and I'm so excited to be here with you. So this morning we are talking about creating a morning routine. And if you are new to this group or to the Brave New Yoga Facebook page, my name is Amanda Upton, and of Brave New Yoga, and you might be joining from YouTube, from the Facebook group, or the Facebook the page. So wherever you are joining from, welcome, and I'm so glad that you're here. So many of us aspire, because of things we've heard, to have a morning routine, to have something that really establishes like our day. And that's what we're going to be diving into today, like what that looks like, why it's important, and how you go about creating an inspiring morning. So as we talk about the morning, to ask questions, to share what is coming up for you. I have some specific things I would love to learn about from you. So you can just imagine that we are sitting and having coffee together, and we're just chatting back and forth. So definitely leave a chat, leave comments, and just let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, what questions you have, and what is like exciting to you to think about and to think about implementing into your life as we go through how to establish an inspiring morning routine. So I have not always been a morning person. I would have never, ever in a million years thought that I would ever become a morning person. It's never been something that felt like it was me ever at all at any point in my life until I had a child. And I remember before I had my daughter just being so worried about like, how am I going to deal with the mornings? This is going to be really hard, because I always thought of myself as a night owl. I always liked to stay up late. I always felt very creative at night. It was a time where I tend to do more of my work, or I just feel more engaged in that way. And I love to sleep. And I always was a sleeper inner. And so the thought of waking up early and doing something like a specific routine in the morning before the day gets going was just like, are you kidding me? No way. But what happened for me was that when I had my daughter, and then when she was about 1 or 1.5, somewhere in there, I was home with her, and I had no space to myself. Like, it just felt like my whole day, my whole life was really about her, as it should be in those early days, early months, early years. And it was wonderful. And at the same time, I was feeling really, I remember the feeling of just like suffocated, just feeling like really pulled in so many directions and not giving myself enough space at all, not having enough time for me at all, and feeling really depleted because of that, and feeling like I was always needing to be on as a mom, and never having time to really connect with myself. So at about that time of about 4 years ago, I started just, in the moments that I had, I started looking into, how do I wake up earlier, and how do I like have time for myself? Like, how do I actually make this happen? What does it look like? How do you actually go from sleeping, you know, having this routine of just sleeping until you need to wake up, to waking up earlier and having some time to do what I needed to do. And at the time, I was home with my daughter, but I was also running my business. I had a yoga studio. And so in the times where she was sleeping was when I was working. And so I needed more time for that as well, and also just needed more time for myself. So I started digging into like, how do you actually make this happen? Because it was not something that came natural to me. And if that is you, if you are someone who getting up early does not come natural to you, like put a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know like that's you too. Um, Good morning. And so if that's you, let me know because I totally get it. And I'm going to help you with it all today. So let's see. Couldn't quite see who was that. Oh, it was Linda. Good morning, Linda. So glad that you're here. So, okay. Linda, you're here. Maybe some others will join us too. What does your morning routine look like? Do you have a morning routine? You've always been a morning person, as I recall. So, and I have not, as you recall. Anyways, so we're going to talk about this today. Like, how do you actually go from not having this morning thing going on to having a morning routine? So you might have read before or seen elsewhere that successful people, and successful in all different ways, celebrities, authors, CEOs, like all different walks of life, really successful people have a morning routine. And this was something that I learned when I was kind of researching, like, how do I have more time for myself? How do I get up early? And I started reading about what successful people are doing, and that they are really creating their days in a very different way than a lot of other people do. And that was really intriguing to me. Like, what are they doing differently? Because they have all of these things that they're in charge of, things that they're taking care of, and how do they make sure there's time for themselves, and how they do the best work of their lives. Like, how do they stay really productive, and how do they stay connected to the things that matter to them most? And every single person who's at the top of their game is engaged in a morning routine. There is so many books out about this and research about this, about the importance of having a morning routine, the importance of taking time before everybody's awake in your house, before the day begins, before the emails start coming in, before the calls start coming in, to have time for yourself. And we may feel that, does it really matter if I just roll out of bed and get a cup of coffee and hit the road and just go with my day? And the thing is, it does really matter. And at the beginning, when you are kind of in the process of kind of switching up your mornings, it feels like, well, it kind of works for me, right? Like, it kind of works for me to just wake up and just get going and get started with my day. And I get my kids ready and get them out the door, and I get myself ready and get to work or whatever it might be. But the thing is that if you're looking for more connection with yourself, if you're looking to have more intentional days, if you're looking to be more focused on the priorities in your life, the things that matter to you most, if you're looking to have more productivity, if you want to get more done and not just check more things off your list, but get the things done that matter to you, to like the big rocks, like the big projects, it comes down to your morning routine. So your morning sets the tone for your entire day. So if you are rushing about in the morning and you're frantic and you're running around trying to find your stuff, and all of that takes place from the moment you wake up until really all day long, because you're going from waking up and getting yourself ready and your kids ready and breakfast and lunches and all of this stuff. And that's the pace you begin your morning. That's the pace you're going to live your day. And if you start your day from that frantic place, most likely your day is going to follow that pattern. And if you wake up feeling stressed, if you wake up feeling and you don't have time to focus and you feel unfocused, your whole day just follows that. Whatever you create in the morning, whatever begins your morning, whatever energy begins your morning, that is the energy that you take into your day. So if you are feeling in this moment in your life that you are not having the connection to yourself that you're wanting, if you're not working on the stuff that really matters to you, if you feel like you're always just trying to keep up with life and you're not actually working on the goals, your bucket list, the things that really matter, if you're not connecting with a higher self or a higher power and you're feeling this loss of not having that spiritual connection, if you're feeling like you haven't had exercise and that type of connection to yourself, like all of that can happen in the morning. If you're feeling a loss of that now, you can create it in the morning. Will it be easy? No, like nothing that's worth doing, nothing that's super important, nothing that really like changes the game for us is ever going to be easy. Like we have to just remind ourselves of that like 100,000 times. Like it's not going to be easy. It's not meant to be easy. And it's okay that it's not easy. So it's going to be challenging, most likely, to switch things up in the morning and to change your routine, but it matters. So if you're just joining in, let me know, what does your morning routine look like? What does your morning routine look like right now? And what do you want it to look like? What are you envisioning? What do you aspire to? Just give that a thought for a moment. What do you aspire to in the morning? And as you think about that, one of the reasons that I'm super jazzed about having really specific routine in the morning and really dedicating time in the morning to my goals and myself is because as I'm getting older, I turned 41 this summer, and specifically hitting my 40s, it's been really clear to me, like in and like no other time, that I'm getting older, that time is limited. I am feeling that in a whole new way. It's very real for me. And you might be feeling some sense of that, or maybe you totally get that 100% right now. That there is limited time, that it really matters what we're doing with our time, how we are using our time, who we are spending our time with, what we are spending our time on, what we're spending our resources on, where our energy is going, because it's all limited. And this has just been something that's hit me again and again and again, that for me, I want to use my time and really engage with my time in a way that feels really good and supportive, and that really just supports me and what I want to be doing with my life. And where I'm at right now, and let me know, just give me a heart or a thumbs up if you feel the same way. I don't really want to sleep any more than I actually just need to sleep. I don't want to. I don't want to waste my time. And sleeping always feels good, and I really like it. But for me, before this morning time, I would just lay in bed and lay in bed, and it kind of felt good. But now that I have a very specific morning routine, it doesn't feel as good to lay in bed anymore. What feels better is to be present with myself, to get up and read and move and go outside and write my goals down. And that feels like so empowering and inspiring, and it keeps me focused on what matters. So that's another reason that kind of has brought me to this morning routine. Yes, I love this. In the quiet morning time, I design my day. It's been so helpful with your encouragement. I'm so glad. And yoga practice. I never dreamed I would have a home practice, but now I have a 10-minute practice throughout the day. I want to stay healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually. Oh my gosh, me too, right there with you. I am all about it. I want what Linda has. Yes. Let's see, I can't see the name of the Hannah. Hannah. You got this, Hannah. Hannah, I know you can have what Linda has. And it's really like, I will say that, so my daughter's 5. So I started this journey of switching up my morning routine when Daisy was, I think she was 1. I think she was about 1. So it's taken me about 4 years to kind of figure this out. And it hasn't taken me 4 years to just get up early, but to like find like my rhythm that feels really, really good, and to know myself in the morning and what I want to do and how I want to spend my time. Now, it didn't take that long, just so you know, to get in the habit of waking up earlier. That part felt like the most painful thing in the world, but I'll be totally honest, it really wasn't that hard. Once I got into it and I committed myself to it, it really wasn't that hard. So, oh, good. Walking is so helpful too. Yeah, getting up in the morning and getting up and out of the day. So, why, Hannah, since you're here, what do you want from your morning routine? Why does it matter for you? Like, what are you wanting to happen in your morning routine? Love to know. So, let's see. Talked about how the morning sets the tone for the day. So important. When you start your day feeling intentional, one of the things I do every morning is I write out my goals. I have a list of goals that I have determined, and I write down my 10 goals every single morning. And I write down 5 things I'm grateful for. And that process alone is just like, yeah, that's what I'm working on today. That's what I'm going after today. Even when I'm tired and I feel like, what am I doing today? And I didn't, I have all this stuff to do, or whatever it might be, where I just feel a little messy in my mind. That process of sitting and writing and thinking about the things I want to make happen in my life is very clarifying. And then I begin my day with intention. And so when we begin our days that way, we flow through our days that way. And it becomes, and especially as it becomes more and more of a habit. Hannah, I want some quiet, intentional time and mental space. Oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. That is the most beautiful thing ever, is to create that time, and you totally deserve it. It is such a practice of self-love. It is such a practice of loving yourself, is giving yourself that time. And we all deserve it just because we're human beings, right? We don't have to even do anything to get that, to have that time for ourselves. We just deserve it because we live these lives every day, walk this life. So here's some interesting things. When you have a morning practice, and give me a thumbs up if these things sound good to you. When you have a morning practice, hold on, air on my screen. When you have a morning practice, there are a few things that happen that are just amazing, that you don't even have to even think about. They just happen as a result of waking up earlier. Number one, you make healthier choices during the day because you are not waking up and then like your kids are awake, or, oh my gosh, it's 7:30, I need to be at work at 8. And you're just like, and you're grabbing food to go, and you're just eating, and you're just eating without even thinking about it. Because you're not doing that and you're waking up earlier and you're giving yourself space, you're actually making healthier choices throughout the day. You're more mindful of what you are consuming. And I'm thinking of food, drinks, information, people. Like, we make mindful choices of all of that stuff when we take time in the morning to be mindful. We are just more aware of what we are allowing into our bodies, into our space. So in the morning, when we get up and we have intentional time, when we move our bodies through yoga, through walking, through any type of exercise, there's this natural cortisol and energy spike that we have. And so it's like this awesome time to focus on the hard things first. So you get up, you move your body, you breathe, even walking outside and just taking some deep breaths. Your body and your mind are then ready to tackle something difficult first. So when I was researching what successful people do in their lives, or what they do in their routines, some people work on the most difficult stuff in the morning, before emails, before phone calls, before they're actually like even in the office. They're working on the hardest thing that they have on their plate because their mind is so clear and so ready to tackle something like that. Your mind is ready to do that. So when you give yourself space, you give yourself an opportunity to tackle the big rocks first. The morning is a great time for you time, an amazing time for you time. We've already talked about just having that intentional time. And if you think of each day as a journey, your morning is the beginning of your journey. And it matters how you start your journey, right? It matters how you start. So when you start from a really clear, intentional place, you move through your journey that way, through the entire day. It sets the tone. And if you are looking to be more productive and like I said before, productive in a way that matters, then starting with a morning routine is going to help you with that so much. So I'd love to know if you have a morning routine or you don't, what excites you about creating or having a morning routine? Like, what is so exciting for you about your morning routine? Going to bed is hard. Oh, I missed that. I feel like I can be more resilient when life happens with a practice and time for self. Oh, that is so beautifully put. That's so true. I have experienced that as well. I have far more resiliency. And I think what that is, because I've thought about this, it's like, why do I respond to things differently when I take time for myself in the morning? And it's because I'm not waking from this place of thinking about all the things I have to do and being in a stressed and anxious place, which then takes me to being in a reactive place. When we start in the morning with time for ourselves and being really intentional, we are cultivating resiliency. We're cultivating this deeper connection to this well of resources within. We're taking time to breathe. We're learning how to respond in the moment. And then we're taking that calm, focused, responsive quality and we're taking it into our day. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then somebody shared, and I'm not seeing the name, but going to bed is hard. I want some quiet, intentional time. I saw that. Okay. So going to bed at night is what I'm understanding. And yes, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I feel like it can be more resilient. Okay, I read that. Going to bed is a bit challenging, right? And I'm imagining, and I'd love to hear more from you, that maybe going to bed is hard because you're using that time at night to de-stress. You're using that time to just go, oh, right? And to just like let go, because if you haven't had it all day long, right? You've gone from just, crazy speed at the beginning of the day all day long. And then you get to the end of the day and you're just like, oh my God, I just want to veg and watch Netflix or, be on my phone. That you're wanting that time for you. You're wanting that downtime. And that way, maybe why it feels hard to go to bed. And the other thing is a lot of times our downtime these days looks like being on a screen of some sort where we might be working. That's not exactly downtime, but sometimes that happens. Or scrolling the phone or watching TV. And so we're watching a screen. And if we do that and then go to bed, it's so much harder to fall asleep. Our brain hasn't turned off and it's still going and it hasn't really been allowed to go to another speed. And so it can be much harder to go to bed. So the one kind of thing that you can practice, and this is something I practice as well, and it's a daily practice for sure because the phone is so addicting, is to turn off the phone or just step away from the screen. What I often do is I leave my phone in the kitchen and then I will go and hang out with my husband in the living room and do that for 30 to 60, or not have screen time 30 to 60 minutes before bed. And then I never bring my phone up to bed ever. That is a rule that I just live by. I will not do it because I will look at my phone. It's like a drug. It's like this thing. I don't want it. And I just go and I just look at it. And I just look at it. So I just don't bring my phone up to bed ever. So a lot of times in the evening, I leave it in the kitchen. I plug it in. I go hang out with my husband in the living room. And then when I go up to bed, I do my journal and I am taking all that time for myself. So if you're struggling to going to bed, take a look at your routine in the evening and notice what might be kind of holding you back from resting and relaxing. And if you go to bed by 10, we're going to talk about this more, but if you want to wake up at 5, whoa, time is flying by. I got to hurry up. Whoa. So yeah, go to bed by 10, wake up at 5. I know, early. Okay, so let me see if you said anything and then I'll get to the good stuff. Okay, so here's the deal. If you want to have a powerful morning, there are a few key ingredients and they're rather simple, and these are the things that people who have morning routines and and are really like into them and swear by them, these are the things that they do. So they wake up at the same time every single day. That's really, really important to wake up at the same time every day. Your body will get used to the habit of that, and your brain will just automatically wake you up. After a while, you won't even need an alarm. You'll just wake up. And then you do the same routine every single day. So we're going to talk about what a routine will look like. We're going to talk about that shortly. But you define what your routine is going to be, and then you do the same routine every single morning. So that it becomes habitual, so that you know exactly, you wake up. For me, I know exactly what's going to happen after I wake up. I always go and grab my yoga top, and then I go to the bathroom, and then I go downstairs to my yoga room. I grab my water glass. It's like I have the exact same steps every single morning. I do the same thing. When I get in my yoga room, I have exact steps that I do. Like the more routine you can make it, the less you're going to have to think about it. We run into decision fatigue really quickly as human beings. If we have too many decisions to make, we give up, we get overwhelmed, and we just don't do the thing. So if you have the same routine every day, your brain becomes used to that, and you just go one thing after the next thing after the next thing, and it just feels really good to follow the same steps as you did before. Another attribute of a powerful morning routine is connection with yourself and to get quiet and intentional. All right, so true. From now on, phone goes in kitchen, and I will journal instead and write down 5 things I'm grateful for, or draw. Oh yeah, it's so fun. It's so nice. Okay, so I am going to list, I think I've got 12 things on this list of things you can do in the morning. Now I want you to just, as things you can have a part of your morning routine. So just know your morning routine can look whatever way you want it to look. It can be very, very specific to you. There's no, what's the morning routine that's like everybody's doing, or that's the one that's going to help me the most? It's not so much that. It's more like, what do you want to do with your morning? What are you missing in your life right now? Where's this empty void kind of feeling? Where are you not giving yourself the attention that you want? And with yourself or in your life? And apply those things to your morning. So I'm going to go through the list. The things I'm going to list are things that people do in their morning routine. Some people do one thing. Some people do a couple things. I recommend not doing any more than 3. So just write down the things that click for you, the things that are like, yes, I would love to have that a part of my morning routine. Oh my God, that would be so fun and interesting, and it would be so inspiring for my day. Okay, so listen for those things. You can write them down or just mental note. Take a cold shower. Tony Robbins takes a cold plunge every morning. Cold shower is something that a lot of people do. Take a cold shower to wake up and get your brain going. Read empowering affirmations. So a belief becomes a belief when we think a thought over and over and over, and that's exactly what you're doing with an affirmation. You might not believe it the first time you read it, the first time you say it, but the whole thing about affirmations is repeating them. The more you repeat them, I love my body, I am financially abundant, I bring in wealth of all kinds. Like when you repeat those things, then over and over and over, you create a belief because you begin to believe the thought. You begin to integrate that thought, and it becomes part of your nature. Number 3, sit in quiet. No screens. Look out the window. Journal. Determine goals and priorities for the day. So just taking quiet time to just be with yourself. Number 4, practice yoga. Always a good one. Number 5, meditate. Super fun. Number 6, just commit. No phones. No phone, no screen time. Not just no phones, no screen time, no computer, no iPad, no phones for the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day. Exercise of any kind. Walk, run, do a beach body program, like whatever. Exercise. Set intentions for the day. So each morning, Benjamin Franklin woke up at 5 a.m. and asked himself, what good shall I do this day? That's something you could practice as well, as wake up every morning and ask yourself, what good shall I do this day? And set your intentions for the day. Steve Jobs asked himself every single morning, if today was the last day of my life, would I be happy with what I'm about to do today? So those can be little prompts for you as you sit and you think about, how do I want to engage with my day? What good shall I do today? And think about it at the very beginning of your day. If you do that, you'll make it happen. Number 9, read a book. Number 10, and it can be any book. It does not need to be like, it can be any book, a romance novel, whatever, right? It can be Eckhart Tolle's book. It can be something from Oprah's book club. Whatever book you want to read, just take time to read. Journal about goals and gratitude. I do this every single morning. Like I said, I have 10 goals that I've determined. I'm going to talk about this in next week's training, is how to set intentional goals. And so I write my goals out every morning, and I write 5 things that I'm grateful for. And I also write the first thing that I am going to accomplish. The number 11 is work on your most important priorities. So that could be if there's something that's just gnawing at you, you have not been able to work on it, you have not been able to focus on it because of all these other things in your life, or it just feels really hard, that you take time every single morning to work on that priority. And number 12, review or set your long-term goals. So this would be things like your bucket list, things you really want to make happen in your life. I wrote down, most of us won't have the patience to do this, but this is the most powerful practice you can have in your life, is to set and review your long-term goals, because our days will just take us unless we take control of them. They will just take us unless we have goals, unless we know what we're after, unless we have this vision for where we want our life to go. We will not get to those places unless we create this path for ourselves, right? And a lot of times we don't have patience because we don't know how to set the goals. We don't know like that process, or we feel overwhelmed or intimidated by it. And so we don't do it. But then our days just go, and our time is so precious. So if you take time to set your goals and to write down like travel to Australia, maybe that's a goal that you have, or take your family on a month-long trip, or save $1 million. Like, what is a goal that you have? If you set that, your brain is going to focus in on that, especially if you review your goals every single day on a very regular basis. That's your pathway. You'll begin to work your way towards those goals. Okay, tell me, which 3 things sounded most interesting to you? Oh, tell me what 3 things, the 3 things that I listed, what are the most interesting things to you? What would you like to incorporate in your morning? You don't have to pick 3. You can just pick 1. I just don't want you to pick any more than 3. So let me know. Do you have 1? So my morning and afternoons are fruitful, and then my nights fall in disarray. I get on the computer way too much. Yeah, the computer is just it sucks you in, and it sucks the life out of you. So commit to just putting the phone away, putting the screen away, and working on art or reading or writing or making something for a friend. Okay, so what 3 things are, like, what do you want to incorporate into your morning? I'd love, love, love to know. Okay, so while you're thinking about that and while you're writing it down, I want to be very mindful of our time. So here's how you create a powerful morning routine. And, I'll probably do another Facebook Live on this because this is such a juicy topic and we can talk about it for a while, and I would love to hear more from you. So the first thing that you want to do when you're in this place of like, I want to have space in the morning, but I'm not quite sure how to make it happen. I really want to have a morning routine. Like, I don't want to get up and rush around. I want to have a morning routine. The very first thing you're going to do is write down what you want your morning to look like. To write it down. So you're going to wake up. Then what are you going to do next? What's the next thing you're going to do after that? Maybe for you, coffee is like the thing. That's how it is for my husband. He likes to have coffee right away. So do you want to have coffee right after you wake up? And then do you want to sit with your journal? Or do you want to wake up and get right on your mat? Now, be very clear as you write out your routine. Think about what time you need to wake up to make these things happen. Do you want to have 10 minutes to write in your journal? Do you want 20 minutes? Do you want 10 or 20 or 30 minutes on your yoga mat? Do you want to be able to take a walk for an hour? Like, what is it that you're really wanting? Now, if you are just starting out with waking up early, if you're just starting out with creating a morning routine, I recommend making things really just like small chunks of time. So maybe it's 10 minutes of writing, maybe it's a 10-minute yoga practice, maybe it's 10 minutes of sitting out, looking out the window. I mean, just you don't have to do all of those 10-minute things, but you're just thinking of them in smaller chunks. And then as you become more accustomed to waking up early, as you get more into your morning routine, you can extend the time, of course. And what you're going to want to do in your morning is going to shift based on what you're interested in and what you need. But for right now, what do you want your morning routine to look like? And write it down. I wake up, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Okay? And determine how much time you need for each thing so that you know what time to wake up, really, what time you need to wake up. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to prepare for your morning the night before. So where we can kind of fall off the tracks here is to go, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do this thing, but we haven't gotten anything ready the night before. So when we wake up, we feel really sleepy, and it's really easy to come up with 10 excuses for why we can't get up right then, because we don't know what we're going to wear, and we don't know what we're going to do, and we don't know where we're going to go on our walk, and we haven't found our journal, and you haven't figured out, where the space in your home where you're going to do your morning routine. If you figure out all of that the night before, it's going to be so much easier. So the first thing you're going to do is write out your morning routine. The second thing you're going to do is prepare whatever you need to prepare the night before. So that might even be setting your coffee up. Your coffee, get the coffee beans ground, get your mug out, get your journal out, roll out your mat, put your, if you are taking a walk in the morning, get your walking clothes and your walking shoes out. Like, prepare for the morning the night before. Now, I just saw something come in. Plan a family vacation. Oh, yeah. Yes. That's so fun. That's a great goal. Work on that. Okay, so you're going to prepare the night before anything that needs to happen. So like I said, for me, I always lay everything out. I get my yoga clothes out in the morning. I know what I'm going to practice in the morning. I have a yoga space all set up for myself. I have my cup all ready to be filled with water. I have it all set so that for one, I don't have to think about any of that stuff. And for two, I'm not wasting any time. If you have a small child at home, you know what I mean. You cannot waste any time with those sleeping hours. I know that I have a limited time in the morning before my daughter wakes up, and I do not want to waste a moment of it trying to figure out where things are or like getting myself ready in any way. I want to wake up and get to my morning routine as fast as possible so I can enjoy that time for as long as possible. The third thing for creating your powerful morning routine is going to bed earlier. I think that this is very dependent on you and what you need for sleep. I feel like I can go to bed by 10 and wake up about 5:30 and be fine. You might need more sleep. Maybe you need less sleep. It'll all depend. But like we already talked about before, take a look at your evening routine. Make sure you're setting yourself up for success in terms of being able to get to bed and fall asleep easily by turning off the screens and just being really mindful of how you are spending your evening so that you can be ready for the morning. But go to bed earlier. And no screens 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Now, waking up early, this is the ticket, right? Oh, it can be challenging at first, but I promise it gets easier. So the hardest part about your morning routine is most likely going to be waking up earlier. So what I recommend is that you just start it in very small increments. So if you are used to waking up at, let's say, 7, and you would like to wake up at 6, it'll feel very painful to the first day of your morning routine to set your alarm for 6 a.m. Instead, set your alarm for maybe 15 minutes earlier than you normally set it. So if you normally wake up at 7, set your alarm for 6:45. And then take those 15 minutes to do whatever you can for your morning routine. And when that feels comfortable, when waking up at 6:45 feels doable and your body's like, this is no problem, then take it 15 minutes earlier from there. So you're just working in small chunks. Give yourself time to adjust to the new time. the new time of waking up. And as your body is adjusting to the new time of waking up, will also be adjusting its routine all day long, and when it gets tired and when it's ready to go to bed. And you are working with that new rhythm. So you might be going to bed about 10 minutes earlier, waking up a few minutes earlier. You'll just be playing with that. But when you wake up in the morning, try not to do more than 15 minutes earlier than your normal time, so that it's not too much of a shock to your system and you're not completely exhausted all day. That'll be a turnoff. 30 to 60 minutes before bed for no screen time. That's the best thing to do for your brain. This is really important. So for waking up earlier. So for one, you are going to determine what time you want to wake up, right? And then you're going to set your alarm no more than 15 minutes earlier at a time, just those little chunks. And then number 3, okay, this is the kicker, but it's going to really, really help you. When your alarm goes off, there's going to be this habit of hitting snooze. I'll be done in just a few minutes, by the way, if you're looking at the clock. There's this habit of hitting snooze. You're going to break that habit. What you're going to do instead is when your alarm goes off, and this is from Mel Robbins. She's fabulous with habit setting. She has this thing that she calls the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. The 5-second rule is what she calls it, the 5-second rule. I love it. I practice it in my life. I have a bracelet on my wrist that says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to help me remember. And here's how it goes. When the alarm goes off, you say to yourself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's as if like a spaceship went up in the air and it's like blast off. And it's you blasting out of bed. You're like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. And you just get up without even thinking about it. If you lay there and you think about it and you think about it and you think about it, you're not going to get up. You're going to come up with 100 million reasons why you don't need to get up right then. Use the 5-second rule. Get yourself out of bed. Get yourself moving right away and into your morning routine. And then follow the routine that you laid out for yourself. Okay, so I want to be mindful of the time. How is all this landing with you? What are you excited about? Are you feeling resistance? Where are you feeling resistance? Where do you feel like it's going to be hard? I'd love to know. 36 minutes, Linda, yeah. So I'm just going to take a sip. What are you feeling excited about with your morning routine? What are you excited to implement? What are you excited to start? Are you feeling any resistance of any kind? Let me know. And I'm just going to close this. I want to hear your comments, but it's so important to take control of your morning, because when you take control of your morning, when you decide, I am going to take some time for myself, I'm going to make this happen, and I know it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do this, you are taking control of your life, and you are giving yourself you're giving yourself this huge gift of time, of intention, of space, and of like empowerment, because you are empowered to create the day. When you take control of your morning, you are empowering yourself to create this amazing day. You're empowering yourself to create the day that you need to have that day, the day that like you want to have. So it's a huge move in terms of being productive, but also taking care of yourself and loving yourself and taking care of those around you and your life and what you want to create in your life. So if you're wanting to be more productive, if you're wanting to be more energetic, if you're wanting to be more focused, it's about your morning. 100% it is about your morning. If you start your morning on fire, if you start your morning waking up before anybody else in your household does, and you start your morning with a routine, even if it's just 10 minutes, okay? Even if it's just 10 minutes, that is enough to clear the mind and to clear the energy and to have you focused and ready for the day ahead. So take this in small chunks. Determine what you want to do for your day, for your morning, Determine what you want to include in your morning routine. Begin to wake up earlier, just gradually. Use the 5-second rule and commit to making it happen. All right. So Linda, water yoga. Ooh, will you break that down? Is that going to the water? Is that doing yoga by the water? Is that drinking water? And no screen time first thing. Excuse me, I have a little catch in my throat. Please list the powerful books you suggest. Ooh, Oh, to read in the morning? Oh, wow, I'll be happy to do that. I'll put them in the chat here. Okay. And Hannah, what about you? What's your morning looking like? What are you feeling? How are you feeling about this? What's your biggest takeaway? I would love to know that. What's your biggest takeaway from our conversation today? I feel like it's being a kid again. Oh, I love that. Jump into the day with the zest they do. That is so true. That is so true. That's exactly how my daughter wakes up. She is pumped for the day. She is excited. She jumps out of bed and she's just like, game on. Let's do this. I'm so excited for my day. Yeah. And if we start our days on the computer, like if we wake up and we go right to our phones, we just our day just sinks in a way. Like our morning definitely does. It's just unproductive in so many ways. So setting out yourself up for success by creating morning routine. I'm so excited you're pumped about this. Okay, so back to the water. Drinking water, coffee later, awesome. Even water with lemon, great way to cleanse your liver. Yoga first, read the powerful books. Oh, what a beautiful morning routine. I love it. And Hannah says, yoga, no screens, maybe looking out the window. Perfect. That sounds like a wonderful day. So I encourage you to write this down. Write down your morning routine. Write down what time you need to wake up to make these things happen, and then gradually begin to wake up earlier. Definitely use the 5-second rule, and let me know how this goes for you. And I'm going to talk more about this because it's such an essential part of really making change, any type of change in our life, and feeling more connected to ourselves and to what it is that we want. It's all about these kinds of things like we're talking about today, creating an inspiring morning. Okay, we are way over time. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I like the 5-second rule. Yes, I made this bracelet and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to remind me about the 5-second rule, not just in the morning, but for everything in my life, because I can get stuck and not make decisions and feel like I'm going to make the wrong decision. And so this just reminds me, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, make a decision. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do the hard thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up and go on that walk and do your practice. I also have a little sign that I have made that says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I use it all the time. I love it. Okay. I know, cold shower. Well, there's actually lots of successful people that use this cold water technique, but Tony Robbins, he is a motivational speaker, author, and every single morning he wakes up with a cold plunge. He gets out of bed, and he has a cold plunge pool, and he jumps in. That's the first thing he does. Can you imagine? My husband said he would be all over that. Not for me, not for me. But for some people, that's where it's at. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Please continue to leave your comments. Let me know what your biggest takeaway is from today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a very empowering, inspiring, magical morning tomorrow. And I'm going to be here next Thursday for another training. We're going to talk about intentional goal setting. I'm going to walk you through my process of setting goals and staying in tune with your goals, like knowing what your goals are and working towards them on a regular basis. Okay, until then, I will see you around on the Facebook group. Have a great, great day. Bye.